people populating. Oh my gosh, they're all jumping in real fast. You guys, we're sorry. It's my fault. We're running 3 minutes late getting started here. So I appreciate you guys all being on and being ready for this. We're super excited. I already got attendees with hands up. Oh my gosh. Good to see you. Roy, thank you for being here. Holy cow. Look at all these people that are on. I am blown away at how many people are on this webinar already. We haven't even gotten live on Facebook yet. So let me go live on Facebook, and we are going to get started in just a couple of seconds here. It's getting ready to go live. We're recording, and come on, it's almost there. Boom, there we go. We're live on Facebook. Hey, everybody, Michael Hellickson here with Club Wealth Coaching and Consulting. I am so excited today. We have got with us Mr. Gabe Cordova with Firepoint. This guy, he's not just the CEO. This is the president of Firepoint. Man, let me tell you, this guy knows what he's doing. As a real estate agent, Gabe was literally, he closed over 800 homes in a single year.
Well, our team did, not me personally, but our team did.
Okay, it was the team. I get it.
Give credit where it's due.
Okay, but that's pretty ridiculous, right? I mean, you built one of the largest teams this country has ever seen, ever. And that's something, man. That's something to be proud of for you and for the team. And so we're stoked that Gabe is here, and he's also got Angela Cutter, who's a Club Wealth coaching client as well. We love Angela. Angela's growing like crazy. She's added like 8 people to her team in just the last couple of months. I'm super excited for her. Just in fact is moving up to her next tier in Club Wealth. Exciting. And so they're going to be talking with us today about how Angela and how Gabe so essentially Gabe's devised this system for taking your database, whatever database you got. You don't have to be in Firepoint necessarily, but whatever database you have, it's about taking that database and closing more buyers and sellers from your current existing database without having to go get any extra leads. So that being said, Gabe and Angela, welcome to Club Wealth. How are you?
Great.
Great. Glad to be here.
Gabe's like, I'm excited, man.
I'm just waiting because you know me, Michael. Once I get going on this, it's hard for me to stop. So.
It is. Well, and I want to give shout out to the people that are watching on Facebook as well. I mean, we've got a whole bunch of people that are live in the webinar here on Zoom, but then we've also got a ton of people in Facebook. Now, here's what I want you guys to know. As we get going here, for those of you that are on Facebook, in the Michael Hellickson's Club Wealth Real Estate Coaching page where this feed is, I want you to type in any questions you have, any comments you have, type them in there. For those of you that are in the webinar, I want you in the Q&A box, put your questions in there because it's really easy for me then to sort through and get to your questions. If you put them all in the chat, it gets overwhelming and I'll lose your question. I might not be able to see it. So that being said, Gabe, what are we going to learn today?
Well, so you hit on the head. What I want to share and do is just some of the processes and some of the things that I would do as a team lead to look in the database to see what's being followed up with, what's not, what are little adjustments that we can do to the steps that we're doing or the steps that we should be doing to get more activity on the website so that they're on your website, they're not on your competitor's website, and at the end of the day, get more conversion, right? And Angela and I were chatting a little bit yesterday. And I mean, there are a lot of tools, there are a lot of things in your CRM, and you can't learn them all right away. And it's implementing and understanding how to use them step by step. So Angela is being very brave. She's raising her hand, talk to her. I'm like, hey, I'd love to go through the database, maybe show you and everybody else different ways of sorting and filtering what to look for and adjustments that you can make to get that higher conversion. So first of all, kudos to Angela because it's not easy to sit there and probably have somebody go, okay, well, here's a misstep or here's that. To me, it's missed opportunities and it's just learning. And this will be stuff that she can take back to her team or anybody watching can leverage and utilize in their own database. You and I have been traveling and speaking together a little bit recently. It's a lot of that same stuff, but I literally want to just share inside of Angela's database what's going on and things to look for. And again, not a million things that we need to change, but just 2, 3 little things that you can change in what you're doing or how you're setting things up to just get higher conversion. And I'm sure you're going to see some things as well. And we're just going to just toggle through some leads and just use real life examples. So not rehearsed at all. It's literally just pulled up our database. We're going to dive in and look at some things. And then the big one I know you guys talk about, we have these databases that's really easy to generate buyers leads and we need to convert those. But I want to show you guys one thing towards the end of how to leverage that buyer's database in your listing appointments. And if you're not doing this, I'm going to give you guys a script that I've used that, you will start getting more listing agreements signed right at that initial listing presentation using the tools you have in one simple script. So that's the idea.
I love it. And Angela, thank you so much for coming here and doing this with us. Seriously, that's huge of you to do that, because people get to see live in your database, kind of what's going on for you. And most people are afraid to share that kind of stuff. Most people are like, oh my gosh, what's but you know what? I love it. I love your willingness to be transparent, to help people out. So Gabe, hit it, man. Let's do it.
All right. So yeah. And again, this is a learning opportunity, right? So it's not that we're doing, and not everybody does it the exact same way, guys. So I'm going to make some suggestions. If you're already doing it a different way, it's working, that's great. I'm just going to give you some suggestions on how I've done it, how I've taught it, where we've had great success. So let me get the screen share going here 1 second.
And so while he does that, I just want to start out by saying that I started with Firepoint with just myself and one assistant. And so it's been amazing. You always talk about the fortune and the follow-up, and some of these have literally taken 8 months to, a year to come to fruition. We've had to literally follow up with them that long, but they are there and they do close if you continue to follow up with them and talk with them and make the phone calls. It's not that they won't buy from you. It's amazing to me that they start looking that far in advance online, but they'll start looking when they just signed a lease for some reason, but they're there. They're just, that far in advance. And so that's
all
the
of
key.
you say that cash conversion cycle, right? So a majority, I think, of what Angela has in her database, we're just using hers because she volunteered. A lot of it's PPC. And honestly, guys, if you can do it with PPC, you can do it with any lead source, right? PPC, and I think Facebook a lot of times have that longest conversion cycle. But as long as you understand it, and Angela's got it, is we have to nurture these longer, right? So on PPC, Facebook, a lot of times it's forced registration. We're requiring them to give us their name and email to continue looking or to get the value or whatever it is. Whenever you're forced registering, it's going to take more touches a longer time. So you've got to understand that so you don't give up. Because if you give up in 3-4 months and you've been investing whatever it is, $1,000, $2,000 a month in lead generation, you're not going to get that money back. You didn't give it enough time, right? So once you understand that, then hey, I'm building my pipeline. So PPC and Facebook, a lot of times it's at 9 to 14 months where they start converting. But what's great, guys, is they're a fraction of the cost of Zillow and Realtor and all those, not the great leads, but this is another way of having an extra lead source. And Michael, how many lead sources should people have?
It depends on how big they want to grow and how much money they want to make. But, a well-balanced team, honestly, at the end of the day, you're going to want between 20 and 25 lead sources at a minimum.
Yeah, and so we can't all afford 20, 25 lead sources where the leads are $200, $300, $400 a piece. So
that's right.
Facebook's a great way of bringing in a lot less expensive lead source, a little bit more hand-holding, but that's what I want to show you today is you can work smarter and not harder with the tools that you have. And that's what I really want to dive in and show. So thanks for bringing that up, Angela, because people, it's not going to be a great conversation right off the bat, but it's a few steps right away, then the nurture process, but they will start bubbling. And you'll fall into a few that convert right away, but a majority are going to be that long time, right?
Gabe, as you're talking about the cash conversion cycle, and you touched on this, but I want to make it really clear to everybody that you need lead sources of all different types. You don't just need today leads. You need leads that are going to be the less expensive leads in your pipeline that you're going to nurture over that long period of time, because even though it's going to take you longer to convert that cash into a transaction, it's going to help you with your cash flow. And frankly, when you have new people on your team, we were just talking to the authors, Bradley Pounds and Chris Waters just the other day here about, they're the authors of the Millionaire Real Estate Team.
Right.
We had a very similar conversation with them where the leads that you give your newest agents, when you bring a new agent on your team, you're not giving them the Realtor.com leads. You're not giving them the Glenn Gary leads, right? You got to give them the Glenn Ross leads. You give them this other stuff that, they got the cheap stuff, the pay-per-click leads is where you start them, because you don't know if they can convert or not. You don't know if they're going to follow up or not. I'm certainly not going to burn my good leads on a new agent. And so once they start going and I see that they're doing well, then I can start filtering in some of those other better lead sources for them.
Well, the other way to look at that too, Michael, I think it's exactly right. But if you also start people, I think, on your Realtor.com, the people that are raising their hand saying, I have a question, well, not only are they more expensive and you're not sure they're going to handle them, but sometimes it's really, I don't want to say spoil, but sometimes we spoil them on these leads, and then it's harder to get them to do the work that it takes on some of these others. So I think you definitely have to have a mix. And if you start off here, and I don't want to make it sound like they're horrible, they're good lead sources. When we were selling 5, 6, 7, 800 homes a year at our team and brokerage and stuff, majority of those were PPC. But we did our dues, right? We were always generating them, keeping them going. And what I'm going to show you at the end, and I'm keeping it to the end for a reason, but guys, this is also a very inexpensive way to drive a ton of traffic into your database that give you the stats and the information that you need to close more listings. And these PPC leads, even though they haven't bought, have significant value in your database in those listing presentations. And again, I'm going to show you that here towards the end.
Awesome. Love it.
All right, we're going to jump in. So, Angela, I'm going to jump into Angela's account. And again, I don't know, Angela, if any of your team's watching, and obviously you're here. There are examples. And all of you watching, if I was to jump into your database, even at our brokerage down the street, there are missed opportunities. This is not pointing any fingers at anybody. So if you're on Angela's team, this is where we're all just learning and going.
Angela's team's freaking out right there. They're like, oh my gosh, don't pull mine up.
No, they're doing great. Actually, I played in here for a few minutes while I was waiting for you, Michael, because you're running late. No, it's doing great. So, all right, we're going to jump in here. Literally what I want to talk about, almost every CRM, and again, this doesn't have to be Firepoint. This is just what we have access to. When I come in, all right, you have your leads list. What you need to pay attention to, obviously, we know new leads are coming in. We got to respond right away, and we can talk about some of those. But there's typically some sort of filter. We have filters in here for a reason. Every CRM has this, but we don't leverage it a lot. So as a team lead, some of the things that I love to do is if I'm going to filter by the day they registered right off the bat, I like to kind of spot check and see what's going on. I'll look at leads. I want to pull them up and just see what's going on. So when they came in, when did the agent follow up? So, and okay, so right, we can start off with a positive one. Lead came in at 5:29. Within 3 minutes, Angela's on it, adding a team member. They're to it. They're getting a call in. They used our dialer, which I'm a huge fan, guys, on recording your calls. If you're spending leads, or if you're your team lead spending money on leads, or you're an agent on a team, record your calls so that you can listen to them. You can play them back. You can see what's going on. So I always want to make sure what happened. So lead came in, we called fairly quick, we sent a follow-up email. What are all the steps that need to happen? And we'll go through that here in a few minutes, just to make sure it's there. All right. Here's where I think people fall down. All right. And again, I've not got the chance to go through these, but I'm going to come over into our searching tab. So go to whatever section you guys have when you're searching and see what they're doing. Because what happens is, so in Firepoint, if the agent doesn't set up a save search right away, the system's going to do it. And you control how quickly you want that to happen. All right. So let's think about this. Why did the lead come to your website? They wanted to see pretty pictures of pretty homes. They Googled something like homes for sale in Kansas City or Overland Park. We'll use Angela's area, right? So an ad came up, they came and they landed on a results page similar to, I'm going to pull up Angela's front-facing website as well. So they landed on a page similar to this with all the homes for sale in whatever neighborhood they clicked on, right? So this is where they're at. Pretty pictures of pretty homes. We gave them what they wanted. All right. So we need to evaluate what they're looking at, all right, before the call. I like looking at this, and typically it's only a couple homes because they just registered, but we need to know what they're looking at, what homes, what areas, what price ranges, stuff like this. We need to know why they're on the site, what they're looking at. What happens is, and what we miss is a save search, all right? This is huge. So the system, most systems will do this, they'll create a save search for you. But there's a flaw in the save searches. So if I edit this search that came up for this lead, the system created it. So they must have clicked on homes in these 3 areas, all right? And they were looking in this price range. So the system created it. That's good. Any save search is better than no save search. But if you remember, the agent didn't make contact with this lead, all right? So if we go back a little bit, what was the #1 reason why they came to our site, Angela?
To look at pretty houses.
Pretty houses. So #1 thing that brings a lead back to your website, guys, is the save search, all right? A lot of times, especially on PPC, Facebook, we don't make contact right away, all right? One of the steps is we have to get them on a save search. Well, Gabe, I haven't talked to them. What am I going to set them up on? You can see in that list all the homes they're looking at, and the system will create this for you. And Angela's doing exactly what, or this agent that had this lead does exactly what most agents do, is, oh, the system set up a search for them, so I'm just going to let it send, all right? This is a big mistake. It's better than nothing, but let me tell you why it's a mistake. We didn't talk to this lead. Even though the system tracked and said that they looked at homes in these 3 areas in this price range, it created a search. 19 results, okay? So when we create a save search for a lead, when does, and it's going to go daily, when does that next email go out? Do you know, Angela?
I think it's the next day, right?
Right. So the next day, if what? If a new property matches that criteria,
right.
or if one of these 19 has a price change. So you know your market better than I do, Angela. What are the chances in this criteria once a day a new home's going to come on the market or a price change is going to happen?
Not good.
Not good. So they're not getting something automated from your system, which helps us in our job. So here's my recommendation, guys. Can you give me a very general area around these? Like, is there an overall area that I could use?
I don't know if you can search by county. So, I mean, I would.
Every MLS.
We try to get to the point where they have 50 results. That's our goal.
Okay.
So we try to
I'm glad that you're doing that, but I'm going to challenge you. In fact, I'm looking at the map right here. I'm just going to zoom in. Right. We have not spoke with this person. All right. So we don't know 100% where they only want to buy. I'm going to zoom in right here. It's about 300 homes, 319 results. Here's where I want to challenge everybody listening. I'm going to challenge you, Angela. Caution on the side of sending too many homes. I think that results should be 200 minimum.
Oh, really?
200, yes. But here's why. Because the first thing is exactly that. Oh, really? I don't want to send them 200 homes right off the bat, and then the next day send them 50 homes. When this email goes, it's just one email. It previews a few, and it's a link back to the website that looks like this. All right? Here's the money, though, is day 2. If I have, what are the chances now, Angela, in your market, you know it better than us, another home might come on the market or one of these 319 homes has a price change?
Oh, like really good.
Really good. And realistically, there's only going to be maybe 1 or 2 homes that come on the market, maybe a handful that do a price change, probably less than 10. If we open the search up, guys, to 200 plus, now it doesn't need to be thousands, but 2 to 4, 500, what we're telling the system is, I want something to go out every day, but the parameters have to be big enough to go. Now, I've been an agent for well over a decade. I know somebody looking over in this area is not going to be looking over here. I get it. But we have not spoke to this lead yet. So we're already trying to qualify them because sometimes we take technology and use it too much when we don't know. So I recommend taking this up over 200, between 2 and 500, leave it daily so that it's going out, and hit save. What you're going to start seeing is you're going to start seeing people come back more often. Now, this lead's been pretty active because there's 2 searches going, but most leads are not like that. Get that search bigger, guys. If you're taking notes on this, every lead should have a saved search, all right? Every lead. If I have not spoke with them, that needs to be over 200 people or 200 homes because it needs to go out daily. Now, here's what you're setting up. I want to show you, and I'm gonna give you another nugget here. So if I'm this, do you guys use BombBomb, Angela?
Yeah.
Sweet. Let me see if this agent, or do you have it set up on your account?
Yes, but we don't have like a video saved up like for the other agents. I have them for myself, but I haven't.
This is what your team's gonna want to do. All right, so I set that search up. So I've called and I've texted. We're gonna get into those steps a little bit, but this is the biggest one we missed, so I wanted to start with it. We've now set up this search. We set it up so they get something every single day, so that they're getting pretty pictures of pretty homes from me with my name, my signature, linking back to my site. You'll see a huge increase on activity on your website. But here's the next thing. I really feel as agents, we need to start focusing a little bit more on the service aspect than the sale. Focus on the service, not the sale. And when you set this up and you keep that parameters wide open, right, is we want to focus on service. So as soon as I set up that save search day 1, here's what I'm going to do. And I'm not going to save this, so don't panic. I'm going to open up BombBomb if you guys have it. If you don't, look into BombBomb. But this is my follow-up email. After I've tried calling twice and texting, which we're going to go over, is I'm going to do this. Hey guys, Gabe Cordova here in the Kansas City area. Thank you so much for visiting my website. I missed you on the phone, but I want to let you know that I set up some homes that I'm going to start sending to you every day. Please let me know how I can adjust that criteria so we can figure out exactly what you're looking for that meets your needs. All my contact information is below, and I hope to talk to you soon. Bye. All right, super easy. So what I did, I opened up the criteria because I want them to get homes every single day, but now I just create my own follow-up, and I'm following up with a reason. And it's, hey, I'm sending you too many things, and I really want to narrow that down so it fits. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, like, why are they sending it all over the place? And then all you guys have to do is just hit save. And it's a little bit slower because we're on the webinar, but it'll insert it right into your email, just like this. All right. Another tip, just video email, because I'm a dork about it. if you guys are using video email, if you wave hi or do something, it loads this preview. You want to make sure there's some motion in that because it gets a higher open rate. All right, so you're not just standing there not moving.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So we're sending them more. They're going to come to the website more, and we set the expectation. What I say, I want to follow up and see how I can narrow this down. So now when you're calling later that day or the next day, because we're doing, as Michael says, 3 calls in 3 days, 3 times for 3 weeks, 3 times in 3 months. Yeah, I do listen to you sometimes, Hellickson.
I was just going to say, you listen to me a lot more than my kids do, that's for sure. Because they don't even remember that. I'm just kidding.
Right. So what we just did, just with one simple saved search, which is a step a lot of us are doing, is we just did it with more intent. We're going to get higher activity. Now they've seen us, we didn't talk to them, and we teed up our follow-up the next day. Does that make sense?
Right.
Hey, Gabe, I got to really quick. I got to stop you right there. First of all, freaking brilliant, right? All right. I love the whole keep the search wide, have the 200 to 500 homes in there, the whole bomb video, get it, get the activity in there so you get the open rate, you're engaging people. One of the questions that, and it's almost a little bit off topic, but it's kind of the same. Yeah. Trent is asking in the questions box, what about setting up saved searches for people that just closed on homes? Do you see value in that as well?
You can. I mean, again, that's an interesting question, and some MLSs will allow it and some will not. It just really depends on who your client is, right? And depending on the market, I don't know how much activity. For new leads coming in, typically you're going to want fresh homes. That's what's even when you're talking sellers. A lot of times when buyer leads come in, a good chunk of them are sellers, right? But they typically start looking to see what's out there first. Right. So typically I think your active listings are a better bet to go. But if you are in an MLS that has some sold, throw some sold homes in there if you want. I would put that in a separate saved search, though that's probably titled something different. Hey, want to let you know what's actually happened in your market with sales in the last month or something, and maybe send that monthly or weekly. But I would keep fresh inventory going daily. That's what I would do.
All right, I love it. And then last, really, and Trent says, thank you very much for that. That's good. And then Tiffany asks, what does PPC stand for? Tiffany, it's pay-per-click. So it's essentially when somebody goes to Google and they're searching Google for homes for sale in, Overland or whatever, that would be pay-per-click. Like exactly what Gabe is doing right now. The websites that come up, so people bid on these, and when he clicks on this, whatever thing he clicks on, the person that had that ad up there at the top where it says ad on the left-hand side, they're going to get charged for him having clicked on that.
Yeah, and they're going to land on a page like this, and it would be for that city if it's being done correctly.
Yep.
Right.
And if you guys are out there doing, I know some people do their own PPC just because you brought it up. A lot of times, guys, I'm seeing agents and teams that will do a PPC ad like homes for sale in whatever city. They click on it, and then it's going to your home page. Guys, don't do that. If it was Las Vegas, I'm going to use Kansas City because we have hers. Kansas City, whatever they typed on, please hold, I'll close that. Land them on search results of what they typed in. You will see a higher conversion, a lower cost per lead, and it's just really that path of least resistance. Don't force them to have to type more in because they've already told you here what they're looking for. So. Sorry, I went a little deeper on that. You probably wanted.
And by the way, Gabe, to your point, I'd like to make the point that that's a good reason to hire somebody else to do that stuff.
Do what you do well. Yeah.
It's seriously like I'm not a pay-per-click expert, but I know people who are, and it's like Firepoint, right? If I want pay-per-click leads, I'm going to ask my lead source providers to do that for me.
Yeah,
I'm not
absolutely. Absolutely. Cool. All right, so I'm just going to click. I just clicked on to the next lead. So it looks like this one came in. Inquired about a property right away. Looks like, again, dang, Angela, you guys are right on it. Angela sends out an email. Looks like you guys texting right away. Is this probably text you? Looks like you assigned it to Christy. Am I following you correctly here?
Mm-hmm.
Christy responds, property is available, HUD sold, currently signed to work with an agent. That one, I don't know. I'm a big fan, and again, everybody does it different. When I'm doing PPC and I'm paying for lead generation, and this is just me, I want to get in front of as many people as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I think you start disqualifying yourself. And Michael, if I'm stepping on toes or saying something you don't agree with, please feel free to disagree.
No, I know. That's what Michael says too.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. You're working with a signed agent. I'm not. Very nice. Is this property something you'd like to see? It has.
Hey, Gabe, let me touch on that real quick there. I want to take that even a step further. First of all, until you've engaged with them, and when I say engaged, until you're face-to-face with somebody, it really doesn't matter if they're working with anybody else or not. That being said, you would never want to say, if you're ever going to ask a question to find out if they're working with an agent, you would only ask. So what I would do is first I would set the appointment to go show the house. Once I've got the appointment to go show the house, then I might, if I'm a little bit nervous about it with that person for any reason, I might say something like, who's your agent? Or, by the way, who's your agent? And if they can't give me a name, I'm like, oh, cool, right on. Well, good. I'll see you tomorrow at 5.
Right. I like that. I think it's kind of like the whole car lot, when you pull up, I'm just looking. We all say it, even though you're really wanting to buy. So, okay, So here's an opportunity. So this is a coaching, and this is not everybody listening. This is not a pick on Christy. I think this is an opportunity section here when you start seeing what you're doing. So she's engaged, right? We got somebody who's talking to us. We've got their phone number. Is it available? I'm not working with an agent. Personally, this is where I would set the appointment. If it were me, perfect. When would you like to go see this home? So look what happens here. And again, this is sometimes focusing on the service too much. Is this probably something you would like to see? It has basically a high HOA. Now look what happens. It goes downhill. That's pretty steep. I was considering something else. And I'm just going to read through. What do you happen to recommend? She's asked for recommendations. Well, let me know if you have any. So what happens is I think there's a missed opportunity to set an appointment here. Right. And I think sometimes we're too focused on getting into the weeds when we could have set an appointment. Right. She was very engaged.
Well, I think that's what she tried to do here. She said, I don't have enough information. When's a good time to talk with you?
Yeah. Yeah. I just think
she did like that.
Yep. I think we just do it a little earlier in the conversation. Right?
Yeah.
You got somebody engaged here. And then the other thing that I would just coach Christy on here is when I see this, is personally, this is probably when I'd pick up the phone and try calling or do something to build a little bit more rapport. Mm-hmm. Great engagement. Everything's good. I just think just a change in steps here. And this is not a gone lead. This was just last night, right? So there's still.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So they're in the system. Here's a big thing, guys. When you have conversations, though, I would really talk to your team members about setting a task, some sort of reminder follow-up on people who you have conversations with. This is the gold. When a lead comes in, especially in PPC, and they inquire on a property right off the bat, I mean, this is definitely not a cold lead. This is a much warmer lead that you got probably for less than $15, right? In comparison to what a Zillow or Realtor or something like that. So we want to make sure. So what I want to look at is I'm going to keep coming back to these. So gal came in, perfect. Also check in the searching section. Guys, you should have this in your CRM. Which ones are we looking at multiple times, and are we saving favorites? So I can see that she saved some favorites here, right? So when we do follow up, the reason I want to know that is when I follow up with Janice today, because it's the second day. Hey, again, folks on the service, it was great chatting with you yesterday. I want to see if you want to go ahead and schedule a time to look at that home or possibly any favorites that you saved on my site. Now, what I said there I think is really key. And any favorites you may have saved on my site. I think when you say, or those 2 favorites that you saved, the one at 663, sometimes when we give them too much information that we know, it freaks them out. All right. But there's information in here. If you guys look at what they're doing, if you worked it into your scripts and your follow-up, it's going to be much better and you're going to see higher conversion. So I'm going to double check the save search also, because I'm going to have a feeling, same thing, the criteria has 1 result in it, right? So what I would recommend is really opening this up. So she's only got one result from us. So I'm going to probably pull that out and then zoom in a little bit more. We're at 364. We're still under 102,000. This is what I would send, right? We don't know. She said she's looking for a rental property. Do we know it's only in that one area? We don't know that. Are you okay if I save this for you, Angela?
Yeah.
Cool. So again, what this is going to do is she's now going to get another email because there's more properties, and she's going to get 1 a day to engage her to come back. Is that clicking?
Yeah. This is huge, and you're right, because Gabe has gone out and he's expanded that area to attract more properties into that list. But what I love that you just did is that you just did this live in her platform, and so now you're actually doing lead generation for her. So lead.
One logged in as you mentioned, so it's still coming. I didn't change who it's coming from. I'm not practicing law. real estate in a state I'm not like.
No, but I love that you're fixing these things for her right now live. And man, you guys, these little subtle things, this is the difference between an agent that converts, a couple transactions a month and somebody who converts 4 to 6 transactions a month.
And it's things that we're already doing, right? Her agents are doing a good job. They're on safe searches and they're reaching out. It's just, how do we add a couple little tweaks to what we're doing to get more conversion? It's not adding a ton more steps. So it's working well. So the safe searches are huge. And Angela, just what I want to show you, just so you know, sorry, now we're going to go into a coaching moment real quick. Just for you, when you're doing follow-up, see how this one says it's created by the system right here? You know instantly they didn't go edit it. So more than likely it's not big enough. So what happened on this other one with Janice, when I edit it for you, it now says it's being sent from the team or from that agent. So you can identify quickly without going deep into it if it was a system-generated search or not. Typically, the system-generated search, it's better than no search, but not as good as one that your agent actually went in and opened up to make sure they're getting what they want. Make sense?
Okay.
Cool. All right, so I'm gonna go, so that's just kind of what the things I look for on new leads. All right, so that was just new leads coming in. And real quick, I don't wanna go too far down this road. What I would recommend as well, I'm gonna find one if we have a text. I was hoping a new one would pop in while we were talking, but one hasn't. What I would do on these, it looks like you guys are calling right away, which is great. I'd always recommend the actual phone call before a text on the ones that we can.
Okay.
And don't leave a voicemail. What I would ask, especially, okay, perfect. So lead comes in. All right, what I would do, call this lead. You've got the dialer. Let the recording go through so you can hear what answers, okay? So as soon as it hangs up, if the voicemail said, hey, it's Ray, I'm not available, what I'm gonna do here, voicemail said it was Ray. All right, I'm not going to add that, but I would add that note once I verify. The reason I'm going to do that is tomorrow when I do my follow-up call, which would probably be my 3rd or 4th call, I know, hey, likelihood that was the right person, or maybe it was a female voice. All right, so it's just a note so I know. But what I would recommend do you want to say what the next step should be, Michael?
Oh, I love this part because I agree with you. You don't leave a voicemail on that first one. And Gabe, I don't want to steal your thunder because I know the text message that you send out, but it's freaking brilliant. It's 3 words. So I literally send them a text that has 3 words. Go ahead, Gabe.
So, I know it.
What's that?
I know it.
Let's hear it.
What is it, Angela?
Is this Ray?
That's it.
No.
Dude,
no less, no more. No less, no more. Well, and what I'd recommend, and Michael, you talk about this too, is call back a second time, guys. Call the first time.
Double dial.
Double dial, absolutely. Call. Listen to the voicemail. You guys have to listen. We're really good at talking. Sometimes we don't listen. Listen to the voicemail. Is it a female voice, a male voice? Does it match the name? Did they say the right name so that you know? Hang up, log it, call again. They're probably not going to answer. Spoiler alert. They're just not going to answer. But they might. Oh, wow, I don't recognize that number they called twice in a row, and you didn't leave a voicemail. So they might pick up. You increase your chance. But then send that text. If you're listening to this and you really think about it, you get a call. You don't recognize the phone number. Calls back. You don't recognize no voicemail. And all of a sudden, you get a text that says your first name. Is this Angela? You're probably going to respond with, yes. Who is this? Right? To me, it changes everything, right? They've now asked who you are. It's given permission for you to say, hey, this is Gabe with Core Group Realty. You inquired about a home, or you recently visited my website. How could I be of service? Still short and sweet. But guys, call, the double call, and then the text. Some agents don't like doing the double call. I get it. But that text, keep it short. Is this Ray, or whatever their first name is, guys, will start more conversations than you could ever imagine.
Okay, I got to stop here. And I get it. You're right. Some people don't like the double dial. But you know what? There's a lot of things. I don't like getting up at freaking 5 o'clock in the morning on the phone either. But I also like money, right? So I do it. So get over what you don't freaking like and start doing the double dial because it works. And if you don't answer on the double dial, then you shoot the text message. Guys, this is game changer stuff. It's kind of like the whole, don't pre-qualify people on the phone before you go show them a house. People hate that at first when they hear it. They're like, oh my gosh, that's just that's so counterintuitive and so different than what I've heard before. But you guys, you're hearing from Gabe here, who's a guy that's run a team that was doing over 800 transactions a year, and me and I, where our team's numbers were, 100 plus transactions a month, and we're both telling you the same thing. If it's counterintuitive to you, good, because if you want to make more money, you got to do something different.
Well, that's why we're all in this business, right? So I mean, the other option is then pay for more leads to get more people that answer the first time. No, guys, you don't have to spend more money. Just change your process a little bit. So,
that's exactly right.
That's new leads. All right. So the other thing I want to talk to you guys about is filtering, right? So when we get in here, we start getting leads in the database. And Angela, you've had this conversation. Oh, there's just getting to be so many. Sometimes it gets overwhelming. That's why we start building teams. But there are two different filters I think you guys need to look at or sort. Last login. I come in as a team lead. I want to see my most recent leads to make sure the agents are following up or that I haven't missed any if I'm still in rotation. But then sort your database by last login, guys. You need to see who's currently on your website and how long it's been since they've been followed up with. So like one in hot that's 12 months ago, one that's in nurture 6 months ago. You can quickly start identifying who's on my website thinking real estate that I haven't touched in a while. And if you go into them, there's probably a reason. There's something that, you know, maybe they're holding off, what it is, but it lets you reassess what's going on. But right. This last login is a huge way to start scrolling through to see what's going on. And I don't think that's earth-shattering to anybody, but if you're gonna have a call night or something like that, you'd be shocked how many people, when I talk to them on their teams, don't use this filter, this sort to see what's going on. But I want to take it one step further, especially if you guys are having call nights, whatever it is, come down to property views, guys. All right. So maybe they haven't logged on in the last 3 or 4 days, but 5 days ago they logged on and looked at 15 homes. So if you have the ability, filter your database by who is looking for property views in the last X days, right? So I'm a big fan of 7 days, so we default it to you. So now I can say, okay, 29 homes in 7 days, 29 homes, 22 homes. Right, so now I can click in here and see what's going on. All right, you know what? Rod's on this one. He followed up with them yesterday. We're good to go. Click, next one. Or if I'm the agent, where was I at? Okay, April 3rd, a couple days ago, we had a conversation. Do I have a task? Ooh, do I need a task? Right? It's filtering because now I'm only looking at people who are actually thinking real estate right now because it filtered them based on property views, right? It's a lot easier than just clicking through the registration dates not knowing who's thinking real estate. So if I haven't thought real estate in days or weeks or months, likelihood of setting an appointment is a lot lower than people who are thinking real estate. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So that's a big one. Do you look like you're gonna say something there, Hellickson?
No, I love the whole, you know, being able to sort by property views. And again, you guys, Gabe is working in Firepoint. And obviously, I love Firepoint. Gabe is the president of Firepoint, but this works in other CRMs too, right? So we're not trying to tell you, oh, you have to get Firepoint, although it's a great platform, and so you wouldn't, you know, it's certainly not a bad thing. But what is important is that you're first, and you're not. It's not that you're not going to follow up with the other people. You're just taking the lowest hanging fruit first.
Absolutely.
That's really what it is, you know. And once we've done that, because here's the problem: if you're not following up with all of your leads, which a lot of you aren't, right, and a lot of our team members aren't, just because they're overwhelmed. They have, believe it or not, more often than not, I would say our teams have too many leads, not enough leads.
Agreed.
And so if I'm in that situation, which is very common, I have to go for that low-hanging fruit first, because otherwise I'm missing out on a lot of transactions I would have otherwise got, because people that are low-hanging fruit fall through the cracks.
Yep. I agree 100%. The other thing too, guys, that you want to look at, we've all seen leads and we've probably all been to a website where you look at huge expensive homes right off the bat because they're just beautiful, and then they really get to what they're looking for, and the prices are skewed. And again, this isn't, I don't think it's 100% unique to Firepoint, but change also your filter data. So if I'm looking at, so right now it's telling me the average price is 232 or 160, and they've had 4 views. If I'm going to have a call night, maybe I want to look at who's been on my site in the last 24 hours and what's their activity in 24 hours, right? Again, that we're talking about that low-hanging fruit. Look at people's activity in certain time frames, because if I'm going to a call night, darn straight, I want to be talking to people who are, I'm going to filter by 24 hours and property views. If I'm dialing for dollars because I'm trying to drum up some more business, who in the last 24 hours has looked at the most amount of homes on my website? That's who I'm going to call. And I guarantee you're going to start talking to more people and setting more appointments. None of us like going to call night and not getting one, or just talking to people that aren't interested. So use the tools that you have that your team lead, like Angela, is paying for you, so that you're working smarter, not harder. And then the other thing about opening up those saved searches, everything's go back to that saved search, because to me, the 2 most important things in lead conversion is the initial phone call and saved searches. Those are the 2 most important things. If you guys are opening up those saved searches at the beginning, guess what? You're going to start seeing more visits and more property views because more emails are going out, and they directly affect each other and your lead conversion. So
on the topic of saved searches, by the way, Brian asks a very good question. This is from Brian Brickell. Thank you, by the way, for watching, and thank you for asking questions, you guys. And by the way, before I read Brian's questions, for those of you that are watching, don't forget, Gabe and Angela are both going to be at Listing Agent Bootcamp. Gabe's going to be one of our speakers at Listing Agent Bootcamp coming up in May. It's going to be May 8th, 9th, and 10th in Denver, Colorado. If you haven't signed up for Listing Agent Bootcamp already, get signed up, because there's literally, last I checked this morning, there were like 23 or 22 tickets left. It is going to sell out. We're very close to selling out. You got to get signed up right away.
If you're excited about stuff, I'm going to take this way deeper, from registration to initial calls, what we should say, what we shouldn't say. So we're actually going to do some lead processing there and go much, much deeper into that. So
love it. That's fantastic. So that being said, go to clubwealth.com, and at the top of the page there will be a banner you can click on that'll give you the information for Listing Agent Bootcamp. Or if you're on Facebook with us right now, you can just you can click right there in the top of the Facebook feed. So that being said, here's Brian's question. Since it's so important for leads to have saved searches, are there any plans for Firepoint to create saved searches for Zillow lead imports?
Oh, well, let me see if I understand. So any lead that comes in from Zillow goes on a saved search out of Firepoint, guys.
Automatically?
Well, yeah, you can set it up to where it's going to go, but here's the thing. When Zillow comes in, I'm just going to pretend this is a Zillow lead. When a Zillow lead comes in, guys, right here, the first entry, because everything works from the bottom up, the oldest stuff's at the bottom, it brings in all the information from Zillow, the home, everything, right? If you don't get them on the phone, guys, number one thing, get in here, save search, go here, create one. Same thing. You didn't talk to them, inquired on one home. You don't know what areas and what their high and low is. 200 homes or more, open up the search criteria. If they came in on a $250,000 home, I'm probably going to send them from 200 to 300. Yes, I know they're not searching that big of a price range, but I want them to respond. You're begging them to say, hey, Gabe, you know what? Thanks for the listings, but my max is 250 or 260. Now I can provide service, right? Perfect. Hey, Michael, thanks for inquiring. I'll make those adjustments right away so you're getting exactly what you're looking for. By the way, I'm available tomorrow afternoon to show property. What works better for you, 1 or 4? Like whatever your script is, you asked them because you sent too many properties. You just begged them to come back and say. The other thing is we got to get them off of Zillow. Get them off Realtor.com. It's like a jungle, and they're a wounded animal walking through it. Right? So if you send them more listings from your website, right, it's going to go. And let me just tell, sorry, I get on my soapbox.
That's awesome, though. I love the jungle wounded animal thing.
Yeah, so get that saved search from your site. So if it's Firepoint, sounds like you might be with Firepoint. Send from here. And then here's what I'm going to do, guys. Same exact thing I just did on the other one after I create that saved search, especially if I didn't get them on the phone. It's a bomb video. I won't make you guys watch me do it again, but it's going to be something like this. Hey, Michael, Gabe Cordova here, Core Group Realty. I just wanted to let you know I got the inquiry. I'm available when you are, so let's talk. In addition, I'm going to start sending you homes similar to that from my website. It updates every 15 minutes, so no more finding homes that are no longer available online. My website updates every 15 minutes. I'm going to start sending those properties. Let's talk soon. Right? Work into your script something that your site's updating more frequently, because what are our buyers most frustrated about when they're coming from Zillow a lot of times is that the homes on there aren't available, right? So give them a reason and offer some sort of service that gets them off of Zillow and gets them onto your website. That's the whole goal if you're paying for Zillow or Realtor.com leads, guys. Get them off one site and onto yours.
Let me suggest something additional, you guys. When you're on the phone with somebody or you're in person with somebody and you're refining their searches, I want you to help them broaden their search, right? Because when people start off, they like to say, well, I only want 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, and it's got to be in this neighborhood, and it has to have a den, and it has to have blah, 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 blah. And they go down this list, right, of all these things it has to have. So what I always want to do is I want to educate them on the process, right? I want to make sure they understand that, hey, every time we put a criteria in, it limits the number of homes that are available. So here's what I want to ask you. So if I found you a home that was $50,000 less than what you are saying is your maximum price point, if I could get you a $50,000 discount on the home, but it only had 3 bedrooms and 2 baths instead of 2.5 baths, would you consider it? Right, so I'm going to start asking them questions like that to get them to think about, well, Yeah, maybe I would consider. Okay, so let me do this. I'd rather send it to you because it's really easy for you to delete it. I'd rather send it to you and have you have the opportunity to see it than not have you get to be the person in control making that choice at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Yep.
And Gabe, the other thing that we've done is since you can text so easily right from the interface, you can create a link like to a search and you can text it to that person.
Yep.
Because people are getting like 100, 200 emails a day. So you can bring them back to the website by texting them a link to the search.
Yep, absolutely.
So create the search for them, paste it into a text and just send it to them. That way they're getting brought back to the website by a text instead of just relying on the email. I'm not saying the email isn't important, but create a search for them and bring them back with a text message.
Just grab that URL, guys. Another one that you can do that if you're going to email them something about a property, what I'd recommend as well, Angela, in the system, is if you're going to email her, you can text it to her or write in your email, and a lot of agents don't utilize this as well. Click right on this little house right here.
Yeah, we do that.
Dump it in, like give them that link immediately. That fast, it's a link right into the thing. So absolutely. Okay.
Question for you, Gabe, real quick. Couple of questions on that. One, Amy Craig asked, very good question. In Firepoint, when will texting be able, or is it on the plans for texting to be able to include an image?
We're actually in conversation right now. So I don't have a date, but it's very high on our list, working with the company that provides our texting to make sure, A, they can do it without losing any of our other features, and if not, then how to replace that. But yeah, video and imaging is very high on our list to add into that texting for sure.
Awesome. Thank you very, very much. And the other question Amy DeLucio asks is, do you have to have dialer to text through Firepoint?
You do. So it's all part of a communication package on how that works. So you don't have to use the dialer though. You guys just want the texting. It's $50. It's $50. You convert one deal because of it. You just paid for it for the next 2 years. And I know some people are like, well, I don't want them to accidentally use the dialer. To accidentally use the dialer, you'd have to click on it, accidentally hit place phone call. And if I hit that, Angela phone's going to ring. Then she'd have to accidentally answer it. So you can't really do it. So it's hard in there. So guys, for the texting alone, this also allows you to do that instant text out of at lead distribution. So absolutely. So, all right. I know we're getting short on time, and I definitely want to go through where I think people are not leveraging their buyers for listing presentations. And I told Angela, I promised that I would go over this with her because it was a question she had as well. So everything we've been talking about, right? PPC, Facebook, any of our lead generation, the leads are coming in. And obviously we want to convert them. But what people aren't doing is leveraging their database on listing presentations. All right. So what I would recommend doing, and I'm going to give you my script, you guys can tweak it or whatever it is, but there is value in all of these leads that are looking at homes and that haven't bought homes, right? There's still value for this reason. So if I'm on a listing appointment, I'm going to take my laptop or my iPad, whatever it is. All right. We all know going into a listing appointment, approximately what the home is going to be. All right. So let's just say we think it's going to be in that 250 range. All right. So when I'm sitting there, Michael and Angela, you're my sellers. So, all right, Michael, Angela. So, and again, we're at the table or where we're having the listing presentation. Guys, I'm sure you're interviewing other agents. Is that correct? To sell your home?
Are you asking, am I role playing or is Andrew role playing? Who is it? I guess we both are.
Yes.
Yeah, we are. We got like 10 other agents we're interviewing, dude. Because we are good, but we just want to be sure.
Awesome. So, and I'm sure all those agents that you've already interviewed or you're about to, you're going to ask them to show you their list of active and hot buyers for your home. Is that correct?
Their what?
I hadn't thought about that.
Okay, so what normally happens, and again, the script is, and I'm sure of all the agents that you've interviewed or you're about to, you're going to ask them to send, here's the key part, or show you their list of active and hot buyers. All right? The husband, wife, or whoever's there normally look at each other, the what? Oh, perfect. Well, again, you're really hiring a marketing company to sell your home. So, we leverage technology, and I want to make sure that you know that we have a list of active and hot buyers of people looking for homes like yours. So we haven't settled on a price, but we know it's going to be somewhere in the mid 200s. Buyers tend to look in large groups or price ranges just to see what's out there. And Angela, what are the areas in your market? I forgot.
Overland Park.
So Overland Park, Kansas.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Perfect. So, so your home's in Overland Park, and there's a neighboring community. What is it?
Olathe. Olathe.
Olathe. All right. So obviously I knew what my market would be. So, and guys, and people tend to look in nearby neighborhoods and stuff like that. So right now what I want to do is I'm going to leverage my database to show you who's looking in the price range where your home's probably going to be in the areas around your home. Again, anybody that you interview needs to be able to produce to you a list of active and hot buyers. So what my system's doing is it's going back through right now, looking for anybody who's looking for homes in Overland Park and Olathe. And because we're doing a webinar, of course, this is taking longer than it normally does. Perfect. So right now, Michael and Angela, I have 240 active people looking for homes in your area. And just so you know how active they are, what I want to do is I'm going to filter this by last login. So currently people looking for homes in your, sorry, people walking by, people looking in your area. We have 240 an hour ago, 2 hours ago, 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago. So what's great, Angela and Michael, is before we even hit the market, when you hire me to market your home, I'm going to take all 240 of these and I'm going to send them an email letting them know your home's coming on the market. What we do during our coming soon period is we don't accept less than full price. It's a competitive market out there, but we're going to send them pictures of your home and let them know if you want a sneak peek at this upcoming listing, please let me know. Just so you know, please let your buyers know we don't accept anything less than asking price.
Dude, okay. That is, I don't know, for those of you watching, I hope you understand what a big deal that is. That is a huge value prop to a seller. Wait a minute, so you've got 240 people and you're going to create a frenzy around my listing before it even goes on the market, and you're going to tell them the only way I'm even going to be willing to show it to you is if you're going to come in at full price when you write an offer.
Absolutely.
Where do I sign?
Yep.
I mean, dude,
just the fact that you're willing to show them who you have in your database and what's active, nobody else is doing it.
Right.
Leverage what's going on in your database to close more listings. So, and work on your scripting, but I promise you the sweet spot is, I just want to make sure that the other agents you're interviewing or you're about to interview are showing you their list of active and hot buyers.
Yeah, that's huge.
And then the money is filtered by last login and just show them. And guys, everybody in your database should be on a safe search. That's what's feeding this data. In fact, I mean, you could open this up to show more activity in longer time frames, but just use the information. We all have it at our fingertips and we think, oh, all these buyer leads that haven't bought yet that aren't worth a darn are a waste. They're not. Leverage that on your listing appointments. And guess what? Then use it. Follow through, because now you can email all of them. And now you're going to start generating things. These people are looking for homes like that. Let them know about sneak peeks if it's allowed in your market. I know some markets don't allow coming soon, so I'm not trying to get you in trouble, but do it.
You definitely got to be careful to stay in harmony with your local regulations, guys.
Right. So basically, once you come in here, Angela, just put in a price range and the areas. Okay, so what I do recommend before you go on your listing appointment, play with the price ranges and the areas though to make sure that the numbers look good for what you're needing. So if you guys have all of your leads on a saved search, this number goes sky high. I can do this in my database, and sometimes there's well over 1,000 people actively looking, and it's usually like 1 minute ago, 1 minute ago, 2 minutes ago, because everybody's on a safe search. Even if you guys just bought or closed on your home, you're still my lovely couple. You just closed on your home. Hey, Angela and Michael, just want to let you know that same great listing alerts that I've been sending you, that safe search to help you find this perfect home. What I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust that a little bit. And once a month, I'm going to send you an email of homes in your area that have come on the market at a price change, so you know what's going on around you, so you always know values around your home.
So guess what? Now, when you go to show those folks, because remember, and to combine that with the fact that we're expanding our search areas so that our buyers have, 200 to 500 homes, all of a sudden it's really easy to very quickly have this massive list of people for whom that particular listing will show up as of interest. And so now when you're sitting for that seller, it's really easy for you to look like a rock star.
Yep. Leverage this reverse lookup on your listing appointments, guys. I swear you're going to start getting more. Where do we sign?
It's huge. So, Gabe, I hate to do this to you. We are running out of time here. We have time to wrap up. We're actually way over time. We originally had planned on doing this for a half hour. I got my team blowing me up. They're like, oh, my gosh, we were supposed to be done a half hour ago. I'm like, dude, listen, this is great stuff. And as I hear Gabe talking, I'm just like, dude, he's bringing value. I'm going to let him keep going because I love the value you bring. So that being said, you guys can get more of Gabe at Listing Agent Bootcamp. You need to be there. You need to sign up. It's www.clubwealth.com. And then just click on the link for Listing Agent Bootcamp, or just to go to clubwealth.com/LABC. Like I said, we're down to about 20 some odd tickets, and that's barring however many people got tickets while we were on here. That being said, if you want to hear more from Gabe, will you do me a favor? In the Facebook feed, for those of you that would like us to do more webinars with Gabe, type in more Gabe, and we'll bring Gabe back for more stuff. But I want to know if you guys want to hear more Gabe, just type it. I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to be like, more Gabe.
No more Gabe. He talks too much, too fast.
But I love it. It's funny because we've had a couple of people be like, they were saying, it's like getting fed from a fire hose. You know what? It is. And, and when you have the opportunity to hear from people that are doing the kind of production that Gabe's done, it's a big deal. I got everybody in the webinar here is typing in more Gabe, more Gabe. Yeah. I love it. And Gabe, we want to know, are these scripts available to use?
I mean, it's the only thing you want. I don't necessarily have them all written out. It's just from doing this for 15 years, but I'm sure we can work on something.
Here's what we're going to do. All right, I'll tell you what. This is what we're going to do. Gabe, you and I, because we need to do a follow-up webinar for a lot of these folks that have heard us speak at some of these events and have been asking for it. So let's do this. I will commit, Gabe, with you and I, because next time we're in person together, which is going to be here in the next couple of weeks. Actually, I think it's next week.
Here in Boise.
We're in Boise. That's right. So while we're there, you and I will go to dinner and tell you what we're going to do. We're going to come up with our 10 favorite scripts. And we're going to write down those 10 favorite scripts. If you want those 10 favorite Gabe and Michael scripts, I want you to type into the Facebook feed. You got to be on the Facebook page. It's not going to, if you do it in the webinar, we're not going to be able to follow up with you. You got to go to Michael Hellickson's Club Wealth Real Estate Coaching, and in that Facebook feed on this call, I want you to type in, send me the scripts, or just scripts, please, or even just the word scripts. If you want those scripts, type that in there and hit enter so that we know that you want them. And even better still, put your email address in there and we'll send those out to you. But Gabe, we're going to go, and Angela, we're going to give you guys one last chance to give your parting thoughts. We'll start with Angela, then we're going to go to Gabe, then I'll wrap it up. Angela, parting thoughts.
Gabe has a wealth of information, and I hope you guys got a lot out of this call. And there's the follow-up, and also I learned something today from Gabe about obviously the seller thing. I did not know myself, and I've been using it for almost 2 years. So, but I appreciate it today, Gabe. Thank you.
You're welcome. I mean, and a huge shout out for Angela. It's not easy opening up your database and say, yes, go through, show anybody who wants to log in any steps we're missing. So that's huge, and thank you. And guys, that's just the tip. Like, there's so many tools, and again, it's in any CRM. You just have to understand and use the tools and how do they help you convert. So I'm sure we'll do this some more. And Angela, I know we didn't get to do a ton. So as soon as if you just want some more one-on-one, just let me know and we'll knock that out.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay, Gabe, is that parting thought? Is that it?
That's it, guys. Just use the tools that you have. You don't have to spend more money. Sometimes it's just improve your systems, right? Just see what you've got. There is a gold mine in your databases if you guys just know how to use the tools. Anything I can do to help. Again, I'll be at the conference in Denver in May, so we'll be going much deeper on this. I'd love to help out. Whatever we can do here at Firepoint for you.
I love it. All right, here's my two parting thoughts. Number one, there's a ton of people on the webinars typing in, send me the scripts. You guys, you have to go to Facebook. You got to go to Michael Hellickson's Club Wealth Real Estate Coaching on Facebook. All you got to do is facebook.com/Club Wealth. Go there and find this video on that page, and type in on that thread that you want the scripts, because that's where my team's going to go in and figure out who want them. And so make sure you do that. And then my other parting thought in terms of the entire webinar is, look, if you learn one thing out of these things that we do, look, you've been with us for what, 45 minutes, an hour. If you learn one thing in that hour that you actually implement, like what Angela's going to now implement, and I know her coach is watching because Coach Dustin has been on here watching, and he's been commenting, and I'll bet that Coach Dustin is going to hold you accountable for implementing that stuff that we were talking about, the reverse lookup on your listing appointments. And so I'm so you guys, that's what it's all about. You don't need to learn a million things on every one of these, and don't try and implement everything you learn on each one of these. Just pick that one thing and then implement it at a high level, get good at that, and then we'll give you another one. And you go into that, and before long, you're making ridiculous money and you're working a whole lot less. So that being said, Michael Hellickson here with Club Wealth Coaching and Consulting with Gabe Cordova, Angela Cutter. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to do this. Remember, everybody, inside each one of you, there's a world-class beast just dying to get out. You got to choose to unleash that beast. So go find something. Help a lady across the street in a world-class way. Open somebody's door for a world-class way. Prospect in a world-class way. Lead generate, lead follow-up. Do something world-class today so that you are making greater progress each and every day. Have an awesome day, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, guys.